Avoiding telephone and internet scams. Older adults are increasingly the targets of scam artists on the telephone who use lies, deception, and fear tactics to convince the older adults to send them money or provide personal account information. The Do Not Call registry may reduce calls from telemarketers representing legitimate businesses. However, it will not stop criminal telemarketers from calling. An example of a common telephone scam is the grandparent scam. In this scenario, an imposter calls a grandparent pretending to be a grandchild in trouble. The scammer may even know the grandchild's name. The scammer is usually crying, making it hard to recognize the grandchild's voice. The scammer pleads for the grandparent to immediately wire money and not tell any family members for fear of upsetting them. Many people will immediately jump to the assistance of the grandchild and won't ask questions until later. Scammers also know that many older people have experienced a hearing loss and won't detect the difference from their grandchild's voice, or they may attribute to the differences they do hear to the stress of the situation. According to the IRS, in this telephone scam, a scammer calls telling the consumer that he or she must immediately pay taxes that are owed. In some cases, the scammers target immigrants who are told that if they don't pay the tax bill or otherwise follow instructions, they will face serious consequences such as arrest and deportation. Or the IRS could shut off their utilities or revoke their driver license. Callers are frequently insulting or hostile to scare their potential victims. These scammers frequently tell potential victims that they are entitled to big refunds or that they owe money that must be paid immediately to the IRS. When unsuccessful, they often call back trying new strategies. May spoof the IRS toll-free number on caller ID to make it appear that it's the IRS calling. Use common names and surnames to identify themselves in fake IRS badge numbers. May know the last 4 digits of a victim's social security number. IRS telephone scam can send bogus IRS emails to victims to support their bogus calls, create background noise to mimic a call site, threaten jail time or driver license revocation, hang up and call back pretending to be from the local police or DMV, and threaten the consumer with arrest or revocation of their driver license. For more information from the IRS on this type of scam, go to irs.gov/newsroom/tax scams consumer alerts. The IRS has warned that this crime continues year-round. Remember that the IRS will always send taxpayers a written notification of any tax due via the U.S. mail. The IRS never asks for credit card, debit card, or prepaid card information over the telephone, and the IRS does not initiate contact with taxpayers by email, text message, or through social media to request personal or financial information, such as PINs or password, credit cards to bank or other accounts. If you get a phone call from someone claiming to be from the IRS, here's what you should do. If you know you owe taxes or you think you might owe taxes, call the IRS at 1-800-829-1040. The IRS employees at that line can help you with a payment issue, if there really is such an issue. If you know you don't owe taxes or have no reason to think that you owe any taxes, or if you think the party who called you is not really with the IRS, then call and report the incident to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at 1-800-366-4484. You can also report the suspected scam on the website. You can file a complaint using the FTC Complaint Assistance at ftccomplaintassistance.gov. Choose scams and ripoffs, and then imposter scams. If you get an email from someone claiming to be from the IRS, don't open any attachments or click on any links contained in the message. Instead, forward the email to phishing@irs.gov. More information or how to report phishing scams involving the IRS is available on the IRS website, irs.gov. Lottery and sweepstakes scams. Sweepstakes scammers call, email, or text consumer congratulations on winning a lottery drawing or sweepstakes, which the consumer usually have not even entered. The scammer asks the winner for an upfront payment to cover processing fee or taxes. In other variation, the scammer sends a letter with an authentic-looking but phony claim certificate or a check as an advance to pay the winnings. Bankers are generally aware of this scam and how to spot the phony checks. But if you deposit a phony check, the financial institution might hold you responsible for a repayment of the entire amount of the fraudulent check, even if you sent some of the money to the scammer. Sweepstakes recovery scam. Once it is apparent that no winnings are forthcoming, the victim may receive another call from a person claiming to be an attorney representing sweepstakes winners. In exchange for an upfront fee, the so-called attorney offers to collect the winning on behalf of the victim. Needless to say, the attorney is actually an associate of the original scammer, and there's no chance of recovering the original loss of the fraudulent fee that the fake attorney charged. Tips for avoiding telephone scams. Scammers can be very convincing. If something seems unusual, check it out. You cannot win a sweepstakes or a lottery that you did not enter. Never pay to play. A legitimate sweepstakes will not ask for money up front. Be suspicious of any pressure to send funds via wire transfer or a prepaid reloadable card. Pay attention to warnings from your financial institution telling you that a request sounds like a scam. Your banker may have encountered similar situation in the past. Scammers often claim an emergency, hoping you will respond quickly without checking out the situation first. Before offering your help to someone or who claims to be a grandchild, be sure to telephone your grandchild or her parents at a number you know to be valid to find out if the request is legitimate. If a caller claims to be from an established organization such as a hospital, a charity, or a law enforcement agency, look up the phone number of the organization independently before taking action. Consider it a red flag if the caller insists on secrecy. Never allow anyone to discourage you from seeking information, verification, support, and counsel from family members, friends, and trusted advisors prior to making any financial transaction. Phantom debt collection scam. Scam debt collectors try to trick their victims into paying a debt that doesn't exist. These phony debt collectors often contact older adults by phone and refuse to answer questions about themselves and the underlying debt. Phony debt collectors may have some information about the older person that they'll use to appear to be legitimate. Scam debt collectors may use scare tactics and may threaten to do things that they can't do, such as arresting the older person or physically hurting him or her unless the debt is paid immediately. Other characteristics of this scam may include you do not recognize the debt and the debt collector refuses to give you information about the debt. The debt collector refuses to give you a mailing address or phone number. The debt collector claims that they can press criminal charges against you if you refuse to pay the debt collector immediately. The debt collector asks you for sensitive personal financial information. The debt collector asks you to use any anonymous ways to pay, such as buying and sending a prepaid debit card, providing the card number over the phone, or using wire transfer or an electric transfer from your bank account. How to respond to a possible debt collection scam. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be a debt collector, ask for more information. Don't ignore your suspicions. If you don't recognize the debt, and don't give in to the threats. Ask the caller for his or her name, company, street address, and telephone number. Sample letters you can use to respond to debt collectors can be found at consumerfinance.gov www.consumertools/debt collection. If you dispute the debt or ask for the name of the original creditor in writing within 30 days of the caller's first communication, the debt collector usually has to stop all debt collection activities until it verifies the debt or provides you that information. If you can't verify the information the collector provides, do not give money or your financial information to the caller or company. Do not give the caller your financial or personal information, such as your social security number or date of birth. Keep the letters or documents a debt collector sends you and keep copies of anything you send to a debt collector. You can also write down dates and times of conversations along with notes about what you discussed. These records can help you remember or show others what actually happened. You can also submit a complaint to the CFPB or consumerfinance.gov, and you can contact the State Attorney General's office through the National Association of Attorneys General.